Gotta tell you, as a little girl growing up in Chippewa Falls, I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world. For justice in Wisconsin. And we won.
Susan Crawford there after her win for the Wisconsin Supreme Court, amounting to a stunning and very expensive loss for Elon Musk. And that can happen here in Texas too, y'all. It's Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Indications that progressive folks across the country are shaking off the mental chains of Trump 2.0 and getting busy. First, that Wisconsin win, Reed J. Epstein at the New York Times says Musk dropped $25 million into that race. Chump change for him, of course, but coming close to double the spend ever before in a single judicial election. Really, more importantly and personally for Musk, who campaigned hard in person for Crawford's Republican opponent, Judge Brad Schimmel, who based his run on his loyalty to Donald Trump, was the apparent negative effect that Musk's presence had against his own efforts. It appears to have fired up the Democratic opposition against everything he stands for, much more than it motivated Republicans to get off the couch. Politico reporting agrees, calling Crawford's win the biggest electoral victory for Democrats in the second Trump term thus far, a massive loss for Elon Musk, both in treasure and in political capital, and a crucial legal bulwark to defend Democratic positions on reproductive rights and more in closely divided Wisconsin. Epstein calls this a jolt of momentum for Democrats and progressives, and it's only part of yesterday's developments in that regard, as U.S. Senator Cory Booker, New Jersey's first black senator, shattered the record for the longest speech in Senate history yesterday, a moment rich in symbolism, as that former record holder was South Carolina's Strom Thurmond, who filibustered for 24 hours and 18 minutes against the Civil Rights Act of 1957 and for the segregation that threatens to make a comeback under Donald Trump today. As David Smith at The Guardian puts it, after 72 days in which Democrats have appeared lame and leaderless, Booker stood up and did something. Every bit of the speech I've seen is terrific and moving, so a homework assignment here. At 25 hours and 5 minutes, if we all watch 30 minutes of the speech every day, it'll only take us a little over 7 weeks to watch all of it. Unbelievable. And there's a Texas angle, a super lame one, really. Faith Bugenhagen at the Houston Chronicle says our junior Senator Ted Cruz threatened to pull a fire alarm on the Senate floor as Booker was closing in on Cruz's record of 21 hours. As you'll recall, he was railing against the Affordable Care Act back in 2013. Yes, the infamous green eggs and ham speech. That one we don't actually recommend reviewing. Back to Texas, back to reality maybe, but reality's what we make it, y'all. Persistent warnings about those abortion clarification bills we've been talking about. As Brahmi Balarajan at the Houston Chronicle continues coverage of Senate Bill 31, the so-called Life of the Mother Act, and the fears that a century-old abortion ban could be reinstated if it or its House companion HB 44 becomes law, which critics say could lead to the charging of abortion patients with murder in Texas. The Trojan horse that reproductive rights advocates have been warning about. The very basic reasoning here is that if the currently legally dormant 1925 abortion ban is amended with stipulations about medical emergencies, lawmakers could argue that it's effectively back on the books, making it enforceable again. Balarajan talked to Bella Pori, state legislative counsel with the Center for Reproductive Rights. She says, quote, "The concern is that by amending the pre-Roe ban, it would make it so that ban is potentially no longer repealed by implications. There is no explicit statement in the 1925 law that says the prohibitions do not apply to the pregnant person. That part of the law could be used to prosecute pregnant people seeking abortion care or self-managing their abortions," unquote. Current law regarding Texas's abortion ban explicitly excludes pregnant people themselves from prosecution, but the 1925 law does not. This is difficult because everyone on the reproductive freedom side agrees that pregnant Texans undergoing failed pregnancies deserve the proper medical care that the current bans give doctors pause to administer. But we can also agree that Ken Paxton doesn't need any more ammunition to go after people seeking abortion care out of state or otherwise. See our conversation a few episodes back on this feed with Austin State Representative Donna Howard, who's one of the authors of the House bill and one of many Texas Democratic lawmakers who have signed on in support of both versions. A quick update and a discouraging but not altogether unexpected development in the measles outbreak story. ABC 13 in Houston reports that the case count has risen to 422 in Texas, and the area of the state affected by the outbreak is spreading and now includes Erath and Brown counties in central Texas. Meanwhile, the efforts of Elon Musk and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in D.C. are hurting, not helping. Erica Edwards at NBC News writes that a nationwide federal funding cut of $11.4 billion has forced public health officials in Dallas County to pull the plug on over 50 measles vaccination clinics and to dismiss 21 workers trying to contain the growing outbreak. Many of those have been set up to target parts of the county with particularly low vaccination rates. As we've noted, the student bodies of several parochial private schools in the DFW region rank among the least vaccinated in the entire state, falling far, far below the recommended 95% to slow the disease's spread. All self-inflicted, by the way. A note of condolence to our friends at the Texas Tribune, whose ongoing excellent and independent work we admire greatly here at Progress Texas. Matthew Watkins and Natalie Choate at the Trib write that John Thornton, founder of the Texas Tribune, died on Saturday at 59. They call Thornton a luminary of the Texan and American journalism community, saying his passing, quote, is an immeasurable loss for our staff, our board, our many supporters and readers, past and present. Without John, the Tribune and the ecosystem of nonprofit news that it helped build would not exist, unquote. Co-founder Ross Ramsey adds, quote, he was smart, funny, intense, and dedicated to the idea that news is a public good that is critical to a functioning democracy. All of us continue to benefit from his work. I'm grateful to count him as a friend, unquote. Our best wishes to everyone at the Texas Tribune and to the friends and family of John Thornton. Progress Texas is proud to welcome San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg as our guest for a live podcast taping and fundraising party on Tuesday, May the 6th in San Antonio, and you're invited. We look forward to a long overdue and fun get-together with y'all at our Party for Progress in San Antonio. Mark that date, Tuesday, May 6th, live pod taping with Mayor Ron Nirenberg and good fun with you. See the show notes and get your tickets right now. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, but they far outmatch us in funding. Oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups spend a lot of money keeping their audiences in the dark. If you've come to appreciate the light we shine on important political news in Texas on a daily, ongoing basis, please know that our regular, everyday listeners form a key component of our funding. If that's you, we could use your support as a monthly contributor, and no amount is too small. Go to progresstexas.org/donate. Thanks to Matthew Wright, Bonnie Walton, and Jesse Bowie, all of whom have joined the team lately. We appreciate all of you very much. While you're at our website, make sure and hit the web store for the merch to match your progressive values. Y'all means all Revolution and our most popular Humans Against Ted Cruz t-shirts, all union printed right here in Texas, all at progresstexas.org. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.